What the hell is skepticism, and why should we care about it?
Let me tell you what it is not. It is not cynicism. You can be skeptical about anything you wish to be skeptical about as long as you've got good reason for it. But don't get cynical. That's a different thing altogether. Look them up in Webster's or whatever dictionary you use, and you'll see the difference. It's a tenuous difference, really, but it is important. And I am a skeptic. Dyed in the wool and the whole thing. And I started at that age. I went to Sunday school. That did it. Because I started to ask questions and they didn't have answers. They said, it's in the Bible. And I thought, who wrote that? Oh, well, Luke and John. And wait a minute, you said God wrote that earlier. Yes, well, he did. But he did it through Luke and John and Matthew and a few other. That didn't sound right to me. What does he do? He stands in the clouds there and says, talk about this. I doubt that. And I got very cynical. In fact, I only went to Sunday school for 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, the wonderful thing.
I've got you beat there. I went to Sunday school for a lot more than 2 weeks.
I imagine, yeah. But I must say, this is a confession now. I was given by my father 25 cents to put on the plate. And I did a rapid calculation in my juvenile brain. I was about 11 or 12, I guess, at the time. I found out that Purdy's Drugstore up on Bayview Avenue in Toronto, in Leaside, Toronto, Canada, they had ice cream sundaes that were either 20 or 25 cents, and for 25 cents, you got 2 flavors. And my friend Gary Haynes, he only got 20 cents a week as an allowance, and so he could only get a 20-cent one, and it was much smaller, too. And I sort of lorded that over Gary, and but soon his allowance went up, and he got 30 cents. Well, it's a long story. It's sad in the long run because he stayed at 30 cents and I stayed at 25, you see. And that wasn't really my allowance. That was what was supposed to go onto the plate. But I didn't go back to St. Cuthbert's Church for more than 3 weeks. And they finally sent a note home saying that I was not welcome in Sunday school because I disturbed everybody.
I thought they were going to send a note home saying you owe us 75 cents.
I never told them.
So it's true. There is a lot of confusion where people think that skepticism is cynicism.
No.
And I think the thing that you taught me more than anybody is that skepticism, when you're doing the tests, which we'll get to talk about a little bit later, you're not trying to debunk. Everybody keeps saying skeptics are debunkers, and that's just nonsense.
No, it's explaining. It's explaining. It's giving a proper solution or a more logical, likely solution for what has happened. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to expose magic tricks and such. No, we don't recommend that at all. But when a religious preacher is out there claiming something or other, it's okay to stand up and say, what's your evidence for that? If he says Matthew or Luke or John or something like that, say, wait a minute, no, haven't you got anything better than that? And if he says no, you turn around and walk out. And you'd be surprised, I've done this many times, you'd be surprised how many other people get up and say, yeah, he's right. You know, they stand up and walk out, and preachers really don't like that much because these people are not going to put something on the collection plate when it comes around, you see. So cynical, never. Don't be cynical. That's a destructive attitude to have, really.